Well, folks, today we're going to be talking about Brookhaven National Labs and the television show Dark. I have been mentioning to people recently that I very much believe that this facility at Brookhaven is where they got this television show from. I've been following a lot of stuff in the secret programs, things that the CIA have been involved with in the past, and all roads lead to Brookhaven. And you don't really have to take my word for it. I have provided documentation. There are things going on. There are connections to be found. Operation Paperclip scientist from World War II, you name it. If you look into my previous videos, I have a playlist called the Stargate Declassification, and I've been making connections from programs that I was affiliated with in the past seem to be connected to Brookhaven National Lab. So it's on my radar for that express reason, and I'm doing due diligence and finding more and more stuff. But with that being said, I'm going to take a slight step back and just show you I've thrown stones at Brookhaven in the past, and I have videos and documentation up about what I think is potentially negative. But I'm going to play a clip for what is basically what they say is what they're up to, or at least one of the things that they say that they're up to. And I believe that this is proof of connections to activities like things that are shown on the television series Dark, and this is straight from their archives. So let me bring that one up real quick. Here we go.
Based on atomic properties, where this state of matter is based on the quarks and gluons or the subatomic. Now, naturally, this is actually a new state of matter. Normally, gases and plasmas and liquids and solids we see in the everyday world, these are based on atomic properties, where this state of matter is based on the quarks and gluons or the subatomic properties of the matter. On the other hand, based on what I've said, the fact that we actually only understand these interactions fairly heuristically now, and we can study them on the lattice, we have various calculations in various regimes, we don't know in principle whether or not this system is a gas, in other words, weakly interacting, a liquid, which is actually somewhat strongly interacting as collective behavior, or say it's something more complicated like a plasma. Of course, it's an important question to ask, because if you consider our universe where we're sitting now, and you try to run the movie backwards, you take the movie and you push all the matter into a smaller and smaller space, at some point, a few microseconds after the Big Bang, all of the matter in the universe was on top of each other, and you essentially will create at least a fleeting period of the universe, which is essentially all a quark gluon plasma. So it really behooves us to know what were the properties of the universe very early on. It's an open question, of course, whether or not there are properties of this which will persist into the late stages of the universe as where we are now, but it's still a very interesting conceptual question to ask, what was the universe really like just after the Big Bang? What's the basic object that we're used to seeing on...
Great question. So the only way that these folks know how to deal with this stuff is they experiment and they experiment and they experiment and they mess with things until they find stuff, which is basically the long and short of what that Dark show was about. But as of what that gentleman was just stating, Brookhaven National Labs has found a new state of matter that they are having trouble defining. So here's, I guess, what the television series Dark did for their rendition of the new material. Liquid, solid, hard to say. But you pretty much get the gist of what I'm saying is that, you know, what they're doing out at Brookhaven is, at the very least, highly questionable. Brookhaven National Labs, folks. Get it on your radar, and it would be not a bad idea to start paying attention to things like Brookhaven National Labs.